I can't lie. I'm in a period where I've lost it when it comes to the ability to play Guilty Gear. Do you reckon that perception of, like, you can tell what a person is like when they play fighting games is real? Because my idea of everyone that plays a fighting game while I'm playing against them is they're like a huge dickhead. But I know based on my real life experience, my observed, lived experience, that some of them are lovely and most of them are dickheads. And so surely I should have the benefit of the doubt and come to the conclusion that you're an asshole, instead of that being the first thing that I think of my opponent. But it is the first thing that I think of my opponent. Every time. I'm trying to not nerd neck my way through this stream, no matter how long it might be. It could be like 20 minutes long for all I know. I want to hit a foot dive, and I want to hit the instant kill. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to do. Well, it's looking like that might not be an option. So you're just here for lobby fodder? Yes. When did Kel Herd become an answer? I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that based on your confusion, this might be like a secondary scenario. Or maybe they're just like, maybe they're just living a beautiful life in which they're learning and growing and changing as a person. Changing as a character player. I love having absolutely no concept of actual pressure on a character. It turns every single failed mix-up into Where's Waldo level of guessing. I point at the page and I hope that I find him. Chat, a member of chat has asked how everyone's doing today. It's time for you to fess up to trauma dumping or work dumping, whichever one you need to get out of your system. For me, I woke up, I said I'm gonna do X amount of video editing, which was about 1.5 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, I understand, but you know, when the next video is entirely in Blender, and so being able to get like 1.5 minutes in a day done is actually quite a lot of work. I told myself I would get 1.5 minutes done, I got 30 seconds done, and I went, well, it's time to play Guilty Gear. I also made a little presentation that I want to do at some point, on Twitch specifically, but also today is not the day. My ass can't be bothered. So I'm fully animating now? No, I'm not. It's more like motion graphics, primarily. It's about, like, the final people to play Halo 2. Typically speaking, people refer to it as, like, Noble 12 or Noble 14, but I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. But there's very little gameplay. It's more just, like, about a lot of people that wanted to stay online and was slowly getting kicked off. And how that kind of, like, morphs from a we're staying online to have a little bit of fun to we're staying online because it's like a movement to we're staying online because I want an Xbox for free, please. I'm not the British man that lives in your phone. I'm so sad to tell you this, but H-Bomber guy is over that way. And they're in your phone. I'm in your computer. I am the virus. I am turning on the in-game music. Get me in there. The fighting game renaissance is over, and I wish it lasted a few more years. Look, I think that there's always going to be a bias towards the generation that has just passed. You know, like, everyone is always going to be nostalgic for the thing that currently is, because grass is always greener on the other side, etc., etc. But it does feel like we're in the second fighting game dark age. Under Night in Birth 2 came out and is apparently a good game, but the launch was fucking awful, so it just died immediately. City of the Wolves, dead immediately. Don't talk to me about Guilty Gear Strive. King of Fighters 15? Anyone remember that? Anyone at all? I'm excited for 2XKO, don't get me wrong, but I'm also a freak that likes a small roster size. So I'm kind of fucking with 10 characters. For me, that's kind of the GOAT shit. But for everyone else, is like, that's no bueno. And excluding 2XKO, what is on the horizon? Are you excited for Street Fighter DLC, the game that you're not playing? Well, I say the game that you're not playing. Actually, I checked this the other day. I think Street Fighter has managed to maintain, like, 60k players as, like, an average. Not 60, 16k players as an average on Steam alone, which is insanely good, like, actually ridiculous. I'm not sure about the second Dark Age. I would say that we're in a plateau for now because a Dark Age like the early 2000s is pretty hard, to be honest. I mean, that's like saying, oh, howdy. That's like saying that like the AI tech bubble at the moment isn't a bubble because the .com bubble. I don't think that that's, I think they're both bubbles. I think we are in a second Dark Age, personally. Oh my goodness. V? Oh, V. The connection. Oh, the connection, V. We'll run it. But we run it once. We don't run it twice. For me, it's the fact that League has like 180 characters, and after 9 years, 2xKO is going to have 10. I mean, look, if I'm being completely honest, Nemesis, do you play League of Legends? This is very important context. The conversation doesn't continue until you answer the question. The last time I played League was in 2015. That's enough time to know the answer to this question. How many of those League of Legends characters, all 180 of them, do you like playing against? The answer is none of them. And so, quite frankly, 10 is already going to be a nightmare. You know how they still give you 5 bans per team in a game of 180? You know how many champions I need to ban on top lane? Like, all of them. But also, I do think that it is like it's pretty frustrating that we're going to have so few characters when... even though I genuinely hate the majority of characters in League of Legends, there's a lot of really unique archetypes. Not archetypes, but like really unique ideas that you could have for a character. Quite frankly, it's bewildering to me. You know how they recently announced they're doing like, well, I say recently, it was like fucking 4 months ago. They announced that they were doing a like single character set of modes for League of Legends. Why isn't that Yumi? Like, Yumi is already putting like one character on the screen even though there's 2 health bars. You could just contextualize that as a Yumi, could you not? I don't know. I think Riot's expectations are too high for it. I don't think Riot's expectations are necessarily too high for it. I think that chances are people's expectations of what Riot's expectations are going to be too high. Because like, think about the Hearthstone like that they had. Like, they gave it a good run. They gave it a good 2 years, but it wasn't performing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like they gutted it. I think if 2xKO does poorly, at the very least, they're still gonna like properly fund what we get. We're just not gonna have funding for what could be. And the only point where I would have a problem with that is if we don't get any kind of like preservation for it. Uni 2, I really don't know what happened to that game, but it's definitely a 2D anime fighter. My issue with Uni is the price point. But then again, I'm like very much fighting game doomer, and so I think if Under Night 2 came out and it was, this is extremely unfair. I'm not saying that this is the price that it should have been, but I'm saying that it's the price that I would have bought it at. If Uni 2 was a tenner, I would have bought it. But it's also like a tenner for a game that I would imagine had at least like 40 people work on it. Uni 2 Online was unplayable for like a week after launch, Seppuku launch. Isn't that what happened to King of Fighters 15? Either that, or I'm just playing so deep into Europe that nobody cares about King of Fighters here. Which I don't know if that's true. That's just an impression of it. It might be a case of, you know, once again, England actually really cares about King of Fighters, but nobody else in Europe does. The same way that England is like a Halo country. And yet, no other country in Europe gives a shit about Halo. For good reason, because who gives a shit? Why would you play Halo when you can play Counter-Strike? But also, I like being the green man, you feel me? SNK shot City of the Wolves with their ass online. I mean, the problem with City of the Wolves is more than just the online. Let's be completely reasonable. The problem with City of the Wolves is that it's also a very fucking boring game. I only played the beta, to be fair. Like, I didn't decide to invest my cash into a game that I didn't like in the beta. But from what I played of it, I was just like, this shit is just Street Fighter 6. Who gives a shit? And I don't like Street Fighter 6, so why would I give a shit? Another tragedy is the KOF 13 rollback. True. Like, okay, I think the majority of people would have loaded up King of Fighters 13 for a week, realized that they probably don't like it, and then said nothing. Like, it would have literally been a game that just went dark. But the fact that the online for King of Fighters 13 was so bad, it's like, brother, you didn't even give it that initial push off the cliff. How's it supposed to fly? It's just miserable. Looking radiant today, King. Me when I'm Silk Song. I haven't played Hollow Knight. I don't even know why I'm making Hollow Knight humor. Did you hear that the Saudi prince who owns SNK expected City of the Wolves to be a huge hit? I mean, I can tell you that they expected it to be a huge hit because they spent advertising on it in a boxing match. Like, you don't do that for a fighting game unless you're like, this game's gonna be fucking huge. I think that SNK, like, I genuinely have started planning a video on the complete fumble of City of the Wolves because it is astronomical how low the level of give a shit for that game is. And maybe it's like more cared for on console, don't get me wrong, but just like look at the Steam charts right now. Look at the Steam charts right now. I would take a guess and say that the active player count is 412 off the top of my head. Someone go and check it. And then remember that there is a 3.5 million pound or like dollar prize pool for that game. Now, I'd like you to run the numbers a little bit. Okay, 388. 388. Run the numbers a little bit for me, right here and now. Let's say you distributed that 3.5 million across all 388 players. You would be paying... I did this math with like 200 and something. I think it's like you're paying $4,000 per player, something like that. And that's just... given that is only on Steam, you've still got PlayStation and whatever other fucking console can't be accounted for. Xbox? Nintendo Switch? The Ouya? What I bitch on? But it is like an astronomical flop. Is the game dead because it's bad, or is it dead because it's SNK? I'd say it's a little bit of column A, column B, but I would primarily say it's column A. Like, I was so incredibly unimpressed by the beta. It's just, I don't know, man. Why do they keep making fighting games where the movement isn't fun? Give me the fun fucking movement. The only thing that stopped me... I might get back into King of Fighters, fuck it. The thing that stopped me from playing King of Fighters 15 was the launch was really, really bad. Like, the online was just miserable. But the movement in City of the Wolves is terrible. It's like, what are we doing, brother? I didn't press anything. Ooh, it doesn't matter. Have you seen that train stage? Dude, the train stage looks so bad. I don't get it. How is the tech so impressive for City of the Wolves, but the cohesiveness of it just doesn't line up? It's like kind of ugly and like fucking strange. Let's play King of Fighters 15. I'm sure it will run fine. Look, my Shen goes crazy. I also don't have any other character in that game, but my Shen goes a little bit foolish. See me doing a 2-hit B&B. That's about it. Some of the UI looked cool in the final version. I didn't look at the UI after. I did like the idea of like the comic book paneling. Also, the Guilty Gear Xrd with vocals in the soundtrack. I don't remember this song at all. Well, I mean, to be fair, I have every single time I have played this game in the last 2 weeks, which has been surprisingly often. I have had Sabrina Carpenter going off in the background, and so hearing Daisuke's Vision again is very unusual, if I'm being honest. I got fucking Sabrina Carpenter on in the background, I got my whole pussy out. It's the good stuff. We're living the good life. I'm the fucking... You ever spend 75 baht just so that you can gold burst? Me too. LeMayo, what was that? That was prime 2015 fighting game design. If you want to burst raw and neutral, you better make sure you got no bar. That's the good stuff. Honestly, I've been pretty out of the news what happened to Strive. What do you mean what happened to Strive? People are still playing Strive. If you're asking like what happened with Venom, it was like, okay, this is fine. Like, I like the character, but also, you know, it's still Guilty Gear Strive. New character came out yesterday, and, you know, I can't tell if people like that. I haven't really seen much about it, but then again, I now, like, actively avoid Guilty Gear Strive in my timeline. If I'm being completely honest, maybe this is like an unpopular thing to say. I was trying to find a funnier way to say that without saying the woke agenda. Maybe this is an unpopular thing to say, but I'm kind of sick of seeing Guilty Gear Xrd in my timeline as well. I'm sick of seeing the things that I like in my timeline. Maybe this is just a sign that I don't have a hyperfixation anymore, but I'm like, brother, stop showing me fan art. I don't give a fuck. I'm on Blue Sky. Show me, like, economy and shit. I don't know. Show me economy. Grok, show me economy. And Grok says, you said white genocide? And I said, no. We need to talk about the socioeconomic state of the world. Me, when I've watched one episode of Lemonade Stand. Yeah, I watched The Yard. Aiden's my favorite member of The Yard. What about it? Is The Yard and now Lemonade Stand? Is The Yard and Lemonade Stand not just, like, K-pop standing for men in their 20s? Have I come onto something here, or is this something everybody already knew? Would you still recommend buying Xrd? I'd recommend buying it on sale. The issue is Guilty Gear Xrd has a very high time to fun, which is a metric that I'm making up. Especially if you aren't like super deep into fighting games already. It's not necessarily the hardest game to learn ever, but it is very difficult to get to the point where you're having a good time, which I think comes down a little bit to the game itself, but also I don't think that much of the beginner content for it is amazing in that, like, in terms of like guides. Dustloop, for example, is a fantastic resource, but there are parts of it that aren't filtered that well. For example, like Milia's combo page is just like it is literally filtered for like beginner stuff to experience stuff, but it doesn't feel all too intuitive. Again, that isn't to say that like, oh, we need to fix Dustloop, make Dustloop whatever again. I'm just saying, you know, it can be a little bit of an upward hill, even with the best intentions. There's a discount right now. There is a discount right now. I think it's 67% off, and so it's about, oh, bye-bye. And so it's about £6, I want to say. £6.50, something like that. And I think that's probably worth it, but then again, that's also me saying it as the resident Guilty Gear Xrd shill. And can you really trust that? Like, I don't think you can. What the fuck? Ed's playing Lost Planet 2? What the hell's going on? I need to see what he's saying about that. What was I gonna say? Shit. I got absolutely stun-locked by Lost Planet 2. Lost Planet 2 just got Games for Windows Live removed from it? Hold on a minute. What? Wait, I need to pause this because I'm streaming. I forgot. What the hell? Wait, are you sure? There's no update? Street Fighter X Tekken is free? Huh? Hold on a minute. What the hell's going on? Street Fighter X Tekken. I already own this bitch. After nearly 4 years of silence, Lost Planet 2 on Steam received a small update that removes Games for Windows Live as well as online functionality. Wait, so does that mean that you can't play it online? How does this shit work? Okay, well, this is news. We love that. It's just offline. No, that is miserable. I will give it that. That is horrible to hear. But that is crazy, though. Lost Planet 2 for me is like simultaneously the GOAT and trash. And so I'm kind of over the moon to see it come back in some kind of way. Because it's from like Capcom slop era. Is it not? This is like kind of Dark Void time, right? Never played those games. What is Lost Planet like and about? It's kind of like a third-person shooter Monster Hunter, except nothing like it at the same time. Next question. My name Jeff? My name is Jeff. My name Jeff came out like yesterday, right? Shit. My name's Jeff. Milia Rage, I knew you didn't have a soul, Leon. Look. My Milia is awful. I don't think I understand how to play this character, and I've been playing this character for 2 weeks. 2 weeks! And I can't play this fucking character. It doesn't make any sense. How about you pack it up and get a Milia wage? Okay, fucking hell, what the hell? Yeah, this is actually like the point that made me go like, maybe Milia isn't for me. When you're playing on block, it feels like you just have no options. And maybe that's just me being thick. Leon, have you played Scrandle? Read the room, brother. What? I'm trying to play Milia. I don't need to play Scrandle. I live in the country. This is like asking someone, this is like asking a Nord if they've played Skyrim. It's like, brother, they're in the game. What do you mean? I just don't think I, like, have the fundies for this character. She's just too fast. Like here, I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. Also, the fact that I can't do, like, 2K into a hard knockdown every single time, it just doesn't make any sense. This OST though, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just so Guilty Geared out, but like, to me, this soundtrack is like, I could be listening to like anything else right now. I want to be listening to Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, to be fair, I am playing Milia, so why would I be playing Milia if I'm not listening to something that slays? Or Freezer on a 10-hour loop? No. I like Freezer, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the Guilty Gear soundtrack, but like, Dire Docs, now that's the good shit. There are levels to video game soundtrack, and Dire Docs is somewhere at the top there. I'll bump that shit in the club, for real. Go up to the DJ. Dire Docs, though? You know Dire Docs? Surely you do. When am I going to invest months into playing the best Guilty Gear? Missing Link. Never. I love stacking Dragon installs and doing charge cancels. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that like a lot of that stuff is fun, but the world has like Fortnite. Like, I do understand the like fascination with the old fighting games, like don't get me wrong, but the world has Fortnite, and if you decide to spend like a month playing Fortnite, you can talk to like 400 normal people and also like a million different like people, you know? Not normal people, obviously. There are people that still think that Fortnite is going to the moon and they're going to have another multi-million tournament and they're going to win it. But you can at least talk to more people. You learn an old fighting game, you can talk to 2 people. 2 cool people versus an infinite hell of demons. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that, like, maybe I'm just becoming, like, jaded, but I'm kind of vibing with, like, normcore shit lately. I want to go to Greg's, I want to listen to Sabrina Carpenter, and I want to watch the F1. Like, the Guilty Gear portion of my life has come to a close. Obviously, like, I'm forced to like, use ChatGPT to solve emotional problems, but, like, those are the trade-offs that you have as a normal person. Who do you like in F1? I actually don't like F1, but all of my friends do, and so I need to learn up. I just like the idea that, like, if I become more normal pilled, I can walk down the street and I don't have to have, like, a really horrified, permanent existence that someone might ask me what I think about AC Milan, you know? Instead of going, have you heard of Guilty Gear? I can go, yeah, like, I kind of don't like their position in the league right now, but their manager is good enough to come back. I'm sure they got it. And you can ask me, hey, what the fuck did that mean? And my answer to that would be, I have no idea. But I'm assuming that all of the people that, like, talk like that don't have a fucking clue either. So, you know, whenever I'm asked about sports, I just give my opinion on an esports player and team and then just mumble who I'm talking about. Massive air grab. I think that, like, when it comes to Guilty Gear, the point where your brain, like, levels up exponentially is the point in which you realize how you can use air grab. Because it's not necessarily, like, the most important defensive tool, but once you get it, it feels like all the other systems just make sense. Because you can't do, like, down back while you air grab. You need to do, like, neutral into air grab. But it just cleans up your play so much once you finally got it. You're not normie at all, Leon? Well, yeah, I'm not, like, for right here, right now. Sorry. I'm not for the general populace. But for right here, right now, I'm the most normal person that might be in this Twitch chat. Excluding you. You have a child, and so I kind of get mogged by you. But, you know, that's one person I get mogged by. That's fine. Who are you calling some nerd? You! Well, actually, okay, let me correct myself. The nerds are in the chat, but I'm sure there's normies that are, like, just have this on their phone that aren't entering the chat. Like, my name, Jeff, as your first chat message, you're in the freak dimension. No offense. Like, and it's fine because my name's Jeff too, but like, you're in the freak dimension. My streamer desperately needs to have a child and plays the dolls. I mean, why would I do that when, like, the market share for that kind of content is already dominated by one brand? Me identifying all of the personalities around me as brands, I am the average Atrioc viewer. You could take an earlier time slot. I was thinking this. But then again, like, how many people are on Twitch watching European streams, like 4 p.m.? The answer is probably quite a lot, but not for fighting games, I wouldn't imagine. My brain just doesn't wire with this character. I need to, like, come to the acceptance that I'm not built to be a melee player. I'm not built to slay. I was born a bold man, I'll die a bold man. It just feels like I have to get, like, every single decision extremely correct all of the time, which I don't think is true because it's, you know, this character is top 5 as fuck. But I just have to make so many damn choices. Or at least I think this character is top 5. It's been a while since I've, like, looked at the tier list. Although then again, you're playing Guilty Gear XR, like, you don't really need to pay attention to the tier list. Is it an unpopular opinion to consider tier lists the sign of a healthy game? Because every single game that I've ever seen that is like, yeah, that game is alive, that game is popping, they all have tier lists. They're all going off constantly. Everyone wants to weigh in with their hot take. They want to have their debate on who's ass and who's the GOAT. But if you see a game that's like kind of dead, nobody's trying to argue that Scrimblow Bimblow 4 is above Scrimblow Bimblow 5, you know? No, tier lists are for sure a recession indicator. Damn. So in this context, you're saying that a tier list is like prolonged low inflation, low interest rates. Is that what you're saying? Are you telling me to buy Xrd coin, or are you telling me to sell Street Fighter token? Anyway, to the moon. Am I right, brothers? I took the gunk out of my JLF and re-greased it after a Tekken 6 session the other day. Sentences that only rubbish has ever said. Like, welcome to the unique dimension. How does it feel to be there? Such is life. Tier lists can be interesting to see what people stress at an individual level. I mean more in the sense of, like, it kind of shows if your player base is stupid enough to care about a tier list, which is a good sign. Because if you have, like, players that are like, fuck, I need to, like, stay on top of the tier list, they think that there's, like, a reason to get good, you know? What made you try to learn Milia? Nobody would, like, outside of LT, like, nobody plays Milia. And so I was like, well, what the hell does this character do? And so I was like, well, I'm going to play him. I'm going to pick him up. Also, the next game, not this. The next game after this is my last game. I have to bounce. Tier lists are a way to send a signal of vitality out to an outside community. That's what I'm saying. I met someone at TI who was good at XX. They still doing TI? Wait, hold on a minute. TI is the Dota tournament. They still doing? Because I thought that Dota 2 lost the majority of its support, or they've kind of like have fallen off a little bit, to apply YouTuber lingo to it. They fell off. They're in their slump era, but in the same way that like Counter-Strike is in its fall off era, where it's like, no, this is still the GOAT. They're still making tier lists. CS will never die. I feel like CS is living forever. I will give you that. It's one of those games that just seems to be popular among all of the people that you're not speaking to. Every single time I check the Steam charts, it's like over 1 million concurrent players. It's dead in the way of no more $40 million prize pool. I don't know why I'm saying ooh. Like $20 million, like a 2 million prize pool is still like a 2 million prize pool. Which I think more just goes to show that like perception on money in esports is maybe a little bit skewed. You look at a game that doesn't have a 3.5 million cash out and it's like, it's dead. Meanwhile, City of the Wolves is played by 388 people. The prize pool is super unsustainable anyway. Yeah, like especially if it's going to be positioned around how much money the player base is willing to put in. It's 3 a.m. in Australia, but I want to play this game. Too bad, bud. This is the last game. You're going to bed. All right, remember, you're playing Insano mode. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that you didn't burst there. You're gonna do Brown Viper? Okay. Ooh! Ooh! Oh, God. I thought you would do DP on Wake Up, so I didn't do anything. You're doing grab. I know you're doing grab. Oh! Oh. I see what you've done here. You've played so peculiar that now I overcompensate and I'm too scared to press. How genius. The mind game. Oh, the mind game of a champion. No, what am I doing? Get me out of here. Oh. I'm jumping. Oh, I shouldn't have jumped. I shouldn't have jumped. I'll be honest. For some reason, my brain was going, you're going to do wild throw. And then you didn't. There we go. Okay. That's gaming. That was a stream. I might come back tomorrow with an actual, like, thing to do. Because the plan this stream was to do a, like, a little presentation as side channel slot. And then I loaded up the stream and I realized I don't want to do that. I don't have the energy for it. So we will probably do that tomorrow. Maybe. Or we will do it some other time. Sorry if I play dumb. I don't like to think when I play anime fighters. I'll give it to you. You're playing right then. That's how you should be playing it. Okay. I am exploding. Bye-bye.